So yeah, you already know. Yeah, but this one ain't even funny though. I mean it's been going on since I believe since May 1st. Uh, but the Writers Guild, uh, they've been on strike. I've heard the Directors Guild, and other various unions have been on strike and not uh, working on any active productions. So Hollywood has kind of ceased to work. Some shows and productions are still going on because they've had stuff, prior. So maybe the stuff was already written already. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of the union forming and taking a stance and saying that they striking and laying out all these demands is A1. Like I definitely support them, and I'm not really faulting them uh, at any cost. But the reality is, just say hypothetically, somebody like myself who is involved in, you know, all these various forms of, mixed media, whether it's music, whether it's podcast, whether it's, film, video production and stuff like that. Uh, what's the barriers of entry for a person like myself to get into the union, you know? And I know this may be off topic, but I'm just saying, like, y'all striking, but, you know, all the issues and all the stuff that y'all trying to resolve is definitely worth it, but it's like, how can someone such as myself get involved and basically get into this union? Like we have this Chicago made workforce development program here, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I look at this and I hear all this diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I'm not necessarily seeing it. Maybe I'm blind and I'm not in the right circles, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to all these writers and people with talent who want to be compensated, yeah, I feel them, and I want the same too, but it's like it's not necessarily easy for a person like myself to, like, I guess even get in the union, because it's like I have the credits and I know people who have credits as well. So it's just like, how do you, especially with you all striking and dealing with AI and all this various technology that's kind of taking over and like happening at a rapid pace, is like, when you really think about it, is like, yeah, what's gonna be next? Yeah, y'all trying to set this up and pretty much claiming y'all demands as far as like this is what we want. And yeah, so what's gonna be next? Like, how can someone who is on the outside, like, get in? How can they get involved? Or are you all trying to have it like, you know, like this, you know what I'm saying? Like secret society type deal where people can't get in, because this really never came to my attention until at one point I seen that it was a such thing as like SAG Studios, and SAG is you know, the Screen Actors Guild, You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's like once you kind of look at that, it's like how can my studio, be one of the SAG studios? And that just mean now you're getting like a union rate. So instead of me dealing with, clients who pretty much are kind of like at the not the dissing, but I'm just saying they're kind of like at the lower tier on the level of like clients as far as like paying just say $50 to $100, an hour, which to some people that may be great, but it's some people who, like I'm quite sure as a SAG studio you get points, you get residuals. Like if you're working on a film, you may get profit participation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you start thinking about that, like that's how you end up making residual income. And now you have more passive income flowing through your company, as well as now you have these credits that are, IMDb, as well as, you know, something that's accredited like that. So it's like, yeah, if you work on something and it gets, say, nominated for, just say that on the EGOT side, like an Emmy, a Grammy, a Oscar, or a Tony. So now when they speak about you, they would say the Grammy nominated, the Oscar nominated, and if you won, and yeah, that's really the thing. So like setting up these types of pathways is, something that I would be more interested in, and by, them being on strike, and it being the summer in Chicago, you would think that, oh, like, let's have some, kids come down here and we do like a career day, as well as, even like let some of these kids work on something collectively like that. So it's like when you think about it, that's kind of the thing, like with them being on strike, what's going on within the community, as well as what are they doing to like physically keep stuff moving. I mean, what do you think? Do you all have any thoughts? Like, I could talk about this forever, but yeah, is anybody, are you a writer? Anybody, are you plugged with SAG? Like, are you on the union? Like, yeah, leave me a message, put a comment, you know what I'm saying, something. But yeah, I'm trying to engage and talk to the people about this because this is pretty deep. Like a lot of people may or may not care about it, but being here in Chicago, having CineSpace where it's like multiple shows like always shooting there, and it's several shows that have been shooting here for like 10 plus years. You know what I'm saying? As far as like through the Dick Wolf Law and Order franchise. So it's like when you just kind of think about that type of stuff, like why there isn't any like writing programs that kind of help, people in the community. Because it's like, yeah, like all of those shows just kind of show our beautiful city, but they're not necessarily full-on stories that most of the residents and people who grew up and know the real Chicago, they can't necessarily relate to. So it's like, when you think about that, yeah, so let me know what y'all think. I'll holla.